Welcome to Sipping on Excellence. This is Coach KJ, and I'm here with my man, my dude, the Doc.
And this is where we will be discussing the exceptional that is absolutely attainable. My friends, here's to living that extraordinary life.
Cheers. Cheers.
Yeah.
Here we go again. I guess I should put my headphones on.
Right.
Here we go again.
Dude, guess what?
Chicken butt.
We got a guest, y'all.
We do have a guest.
Right.
Sitting somewhere in the middle between us.
I know, right? She don't know that she's in the hot seat today.
Right. Look at her. Watch her arm get numb from holding the microphone like this. Do I talk now? Do I
say something now? What's going on?
Like double dutch?
Give me a sign.
She's like, tell me when I can speak.
Do I jump in now?
It's like, Hey, y'all, man. Welcome to another episode of Sipping on Excellence. Got a good one for you this week.
Yes. It's called a guest.
Yeah. This is, you know what? This is new for all of us. This is now bringing in a third feminine energy, which is much needed up in this house with all this damn testosterone.
Oh, my God. Well, you know, we old. The testosterone is hard to come by.
Right. Combine them together, we make like half a man.
And being black,
Right.
we're really less than half a man. Oh, for all you that are tired of the black jokes, get over it.
Yes. But yeah, man, we got a guest. Let's go ahead and introduce her before we get into everything that we're talking about.
This is my Vanna.
He's doing his Vanna White. Mari-Ange Ramirez.
Hello, so glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Fire Femme. That's a good one.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get into that.
That's my social media name. That's what's on Instagram.
Oh,
Right.
my God.
Yeah.
But she's fire, man, and she'll be the ultimate femme of this conversation today, which is cool, which is what we need.
Yeah.
We need.
Because I'm tired of listening to you.
I'm tired of listening to your opinion. I'm really glad we got somebody else that can actually be smarter than us both.
They said it.
Oh, I'll be the first to admit.
Hey, bro.
You win.
Man, I'm out.
But it's especially for today's convo because sometimes, the different perspectives of the genders and the sexes just add so much. So I'm really grateful that you guys invited me to be part of the convo.
Yeah,
We
it's
are
gonna be good.
very much so looking forward to it. Very.
So Mari-Ange is a good friend of mine. Kenny just met her, which is kind of how we wanted it today. So that way this conversation is not just me and her bouncing off each other, but he can actually dig deep because he doesn't know a whole lot about her. And so it's going to get interesting.
Yeah.
This is going to be a good one. And it plays off of various topics that we've had, previously. And so before we get started, a good what's wrong with y'all?
Give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me.
So I know I always complain about time and patience. Always, I don't have any time. Why are you late? I hate that shit. Right. So on Thursday last week, was it Thursday? Or maybe it was yesterday. I'm sitting there. Patient shows up 45 minutes late for her appointment.
Right.
Her husband's appointment is now after lunch. Her appointment was supposed to be at 11:15. She shows up with her husband's appointment saying she thought her appointment was 11:45 and her appointment was like at 11:15.
Liar.
Hold on. And so she gets mad at me because I won't see her at the same time as her husband and just do a 2-for-1. And I'm just like, okay, so if I see both of you now, what does that do? It takes up somebody else's time and it makes me run behind. This one was like, well, you're late anyway. Dude.
Wow.
I was
Wait a
like,
minute. You're late.
She's like, you run behind anyway. And I literally just looked at her and was like, because of people like you who are trying to be demanding. So guess what? I'm only seeing your husband, and here's the choice you get to make. I could see your husband, or he can give up his appointment and let you be seen. But either way, it's a conversation between the two of you, but only one of you's getting seen today.
Seems reasonable to me. I mean,
Right.
Like, that's how he spends his day.
Yeah.
But if a doctor goes over, it's usually because they're helping the patient and they're trying to solve problems, not because,
Yeah, but they're not looking at him as a doctor. They're now looking at him as like their counselor, their school teacher. You know, you know what? I'm gonna buy you for Christmas a shit ton of erasers. So you just start flinging them like the old school teachers fling. That's your answer.
But yeah, people have these expectations, and you're like,
Yeah.
I'm not here again, and I say this all the time. I'm not here to serve you. I'm here to provide a service for you, but I'm not here to serve you.
Don't get it twisted.
There's a big ass difference.
Don't get it twisted.
And it's that entitlement shit we talk about. It's
the entitlement.
You wrap all that up.
It's the entitlement.
Yeah, and we see it in all of our professions, you know, and it's like we see it in daily life. You know, it's like, what makes you feel like this is okay?
Yeah.
And I just laugh at them like, I'm not seeing you today. So I got a phone call that she, you know, reschedules, and her next available is like the 25th of October. And I'm like, they're like, do you want us to double book her? Nope. Sorry.
Hey, it could be the third day of November.
Yeah,
that was a day she could always remember.
Which is like,
Right, yeah.
you know, I know my music now.
And I guess people aren't gonna know what date this is, but that's basically 3 weeks or so from now. And so it's like, you're lucky that you're getting in 3 weeks. Right. Normally it takes about 6.
Absolutely.
So I bet you'll show up on time this time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, man, Mari-Ange, welcome.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Do you have a what's wrong with y'all?
She's looking at us like, what's wrong with us?
I mean, I kind of do. This week, I'm just gonna spit it because this week I watched Kanye West stand next to Candace Owens in a White Lives Matter t-shirt. And then, you know, out of sheer curiosity, I'd love to hear what people think, read the comments, and people are like, everyone's turning against Ye. And no, we're allowed to call people out for BS.
Yeah.
And I mean, let's be serious.
And you're allowed to have an opinion.
That's so detrimental. Whether you have opinions about the actual organization and the houses people bought, the point is, it came from a real place. We wouldn't need to have the conversation of Black Lives Matter if Black lives were not in question to begin with.
Right.
And
what is wrong with y'all?
And here's the thing.
We can question Kanye.
It would be a different conversation, too, if you saw a white person saying White Lives Matter. So why is it any different than Kanye? Kanye saying White Lives Matter, either way is wrong, because white lives have always mattered to white lives.
But absolutely.
You know?
That's never been a question. That's never been.
But I love how everything still piggybacks off of black. So the term Black Lives Matter came about, it's a movement. Now all of a sudden it's an organization.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it created Blue Lives Matter, it created White Lives Matter, it created All Lives Matter, it became Asian Lives.
Come on, man. Black people's culture has always been
the piggyback.
Has always been the foundation.
The root, baby. Absolutely.
The foundation of every other house that's been
built. From the Rudy to the
Tootie.
Let me tell you.
Yeah. And so that's a good what's wrong with y'all. Like, what's wrong with you two for wearing that?
Yeah.
Well, Candace Owens, we always know, has deep-rooted issues.
Well,
and Kanye, despite all of his mental health issues and his creativity and all of that, he still does some dumb shit from time to time.
That you have to wonder if it's just for inflammatory reasons. Like, if you know.
He thrives off of being a contrarian. I think he sees Candace Owens as being that contrarian as well. It's like, oh, you know what? I'm a vibe with her just because she's going against the black status quo of this is what they're supposed to believe, say, or do.
And she only does it for clickbait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because do you honestly think she really believes the some of the crap that comes out of her mouth?
But I also
she's probably done it for so long that now
it's her belief.
Embody it.
Yeah. It's like Larry Elder.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Is it Larry Elder?
God, I know you're talking about.
The one that ran for governor.
Yes, I know you're talking about.
Against
Jesus.
It doesn't matter. That's exactly it.
I mean,
you're like, I'm so disgusted.
No, I just have a lot of thoughts on Candace Owens, which I wouldn't get into, but she's actually a really intelligent woman. So I asked myself, what is your intention here? What is it? Is it just attention? Is it just
attention?
Yeah.
She may have conservative views, but to take her conservative views so far as to be sort of negative towards people that look like her is the craziest thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
I know a lot of conservative black people, and they just have those views of against abortion and some other things that, yes, I get it. But when you take to a point where you're saying black people are wrong and blah, 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 it's like, dude, you're out of your mind. Did you look in the mirror lately? Yeah. I bet your grandmama flipping over in her grave right now.
It's like
yeah,
that.
Absolutely.
That one brother that passed away not that long ago, Kevin Samuels.
Yes.
You know, he was very contrarian, you know, and he was adamant about going against especially black women.
And he would say things to stir the pot.
Yes. Clickbait.
Yeah. He's like, you know what? If he were sitting here with Mari-Ange, he would literally just start poking.
Just go in and...
Yeah, just go in and look at you like this, like, video's rolling, girl, bring it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Let's see where she goes.
Let's see where she goes with this. And he'll just keep coming at you, you know? But yet he was hated by a lot of women because he would do that, you know? And it's like, dude, do you understand what he's doing it for? It's just, and don't hate somebody because they have an opinion. He's not saying any of this shit is fact, you know? But when you start really just going against your own, and it's the people who look like you that got you to where you are, and then all of a sudden you flip it on them, it's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, actually, you have to feel kind of sorry for them. It's sad.
I don't feel sorry for them because it's a choice they make.
Especially when you're grown. That's true.
It's a choice you make.
When you
I don't
grow.
feel sorry for them either, but I find it fascinating, and it's a real case study in psychology. Like, why? What are you getting from this? How much do you hate yourself? Like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So before we get into today's topic, Mari-Ange, why don't you tell everybody, since they don't know why we brought you here, tell us a little about your background. Tell us kind of where you're from, kind of your educational background is pretty damn interesting, you know? And so I think there's a lot. She's lived around the world, did all that stuff. So that's why she's good for this conversation.
Okay, for sure. So my name is Mari-Ange, and I'm from Trinidad and Tobago.
Look at that accent,
Island gal
y'all.
from the Caribbean. And I've been really fortunate. I got to live a lot of places. I love shoes, and I've worn many hats, mainly in the communication industries. My undergrad was in fashion styling. I went to school in Milan called Istituto Marangoni. And then I did my master's at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts in London. I was an actress for many years. I ran a magazine in Trinidad called Caribbean Living. We did a lot of art and architecture stuff. And right now I run a small company serving a handful of small women-led businesses. And I do like client relation work, copywriting, admin stuff. And I have a lot of opinions. And Leigh is one of my best friends, and we get into it often. All the time. So he was like, you know what? Why don't we make this? Let's make this conversation, argument, a threesome, and have a podcast.
Hey, y'all.
Speaking of,
she's smart, y'all. just saying. Strap up because it's about to be on. She's smart.
I just love having conversations with conscious people.
Right.
So I'm really glad to be here. Thanks for having me, guys.
And due to the fact that she is from Trinidad, we decided to allow her to tell us, the whole what we're sipping on today, the sip of the day, y'all.
Yes. So this is a drink that's very popular throughout the Caribbean, but definitely in Trinidad. It's rum and coconut water.
And
we've gone with dark rum today.
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers, y'all.
Cheers.
Ting ting.
Absolutely. Yeah. So let's get after it, y'all.
Mm-hmm. Let me know what you think.
I think
this is a problem.
Refreshing, isn't it?
I think this is a problem, and it's about to be on, y'all.
Yeah.
So, keeping in line with kind of some of the topics we've had recently about friendship, about ghosting, about relationships, we decided today we're going to talk about something that everybody has an opinion about. There's no right or wrong answer, and if you talk to 10 people, you'll probably get 10 different opinions. Let's talk about...
Even in the same household.
Oh, for sure. Let's talk about, can men and women be friends? And we're going to...
That was the only question we have. Right? And you have to answer all of it.
Right? So we're putting her in the hot seat because she's gonna put us in our place today.
I'm a tropical girl, so bring on the heat, honey. Hot seat.
Oh my goodness!
My favorite place to be.
It's already a little scintillating.
Oh,
you see, I have to wear a black shirt today, so you won't see my sweat balls.
Right? Hilarious. So I'm gonna start with asking: can men and women be friends?
Well, it really is a conversation I've had so many different times with so many different people, and you're right. Everyone has a different take on it. I personally think yes. But there are caveats attached to that.
Okay.
Okay.
Do tell.
So first being, you kind of need to define what you really consider friendship.
Okay.
And sometimes I think when people ask that question, can men and women be friends? What they're really asking is, can they be platonic with no attraction? But do they need to be mutually exclusive?
So here's the question. What's considered platonic?
Right.
Is it platonic if I've never had physical contact with you and we're friends? Or does the platonic go out the window even if I've had thoughts about attraction to you?
Or was there previous attraction and then now we're kind of coming to a different place in our lives and we kind of like, oh, man, you my dog.
Boom. Exactly.
Yeah. So again, which one is truly platonic? My thought is a truly platonic relationship means that there was never attraction, never will be attraction. We're homies. I don't look at you in any different way, and I've never touched you, been physical with you, never had feelings for you in that manner. To me, that's like a truly platonic relationship. Now I think
there's room for nuance too.
There's little dances in there where, okay, we may have crossed that line before, but now we've reached a point where we're great friends. We're not platonic friends because we know what the other side is like. And I'm not a fan of, I don't think you can feelings don't disappear. They don't, you can bury the shit out of them. I think if you love somebody, love doesn't go away. It just becomes less. If you have feelings for somebody, it goes away to a certain extent, but doesn't disappear. Does that make sense?
I completely concur.
Yeah. I got that.
I do kind of feel like this metaphor they used of water earlier. They were talking in a spiritual sense, but it's the same thing for feelings. If you care for somebody, I don't think love goes anywhere, but it can transform and evolve as you and the relationship transforms and evolves. Right. And another friend of mine, actually it was Leigh, who said this weekend, sometimes just because you're friends with somebody doesn't mean there is not an attraction of sorts. It doesn't have to be physical or sexual, but you're attracted to someone's intelligence, you're attracted to someone's integrity, you're attracted to someone's sense of humor, and that leaves room for, let's say, years down the road realizing there's more. Yeah. Or if somebody did start with a physical attraction and time goes on and you really grow to love and respect this person, you realize, we are not compatible, friend. This would never work. And somehow it's like, I love and respect your friendship, so let's not do that. And maybe it becomes, well wishes and just friends.
And people will say that a woman can look at a man and be like, yeah, he'd make a great friend. Chris Rock said it best. Remember I was telling you this? I'll tell you this. Chris Rock, we always quote somebody. And
a comedian usually.
Yeah. Chris Rock on one of his stand-ups was like, he's like, a man doesn't look at a woman and be like, my girl, you're so fine, I want to make you my friend. It's just, it doesn't happen that way. Usually when a man meets a woman, he's attracted to her for some reason. Mm-hmm. And he's not meeting her with the intention of making a new friend. He's attracted to her. She may end up being a new friend, which I can attest to. That's happened many times in my life. But when he first meets her, he's like, it's a physical thing because men are physical. Mm-hmm. And when that's now no longer an issue, the question is, can he now pull it back and be okay with just the friend side? Mm-hmm. And you being married, divorced, married, and having female friends, female associates, male friends, male associates, do you think that it's possible to have that initial attraction and then separate the friendship from the attraction?
I think with physical attraction, I think there's always, first of all, let me back up because I think that friends is an attraction. Like there's always a level of attraction. It doesn't have, like you said, it doesn't have to be physical. It can be whatever, but there is always a level of attraction. Now, going into seeing a girl or seeing, having a connection with someone, I can say that girl is attractive, but I'm not necessarily attracted to her. I'm engaged with her, but I'm not engaging any further than this standpoint because this is where I am.
It's an excellent point.
Do you agree with that?
I think it's an excellent point. Absolutely. Attractive and I completely agree with that. Yeah.
I think also as you get older, that level of separation comes a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Because you're only thinking one way when you're a lot younger.
When you're and this is coming from a guy standpoint, at 20, you're not thinking about being anybody's friend that's a woman. That's just not in your mindset. And then it eventually evolves to that, But I think as we get older, we realize there's more to, and being a heterosexual male, I'm just going to say there's more to a woman than the way she looks. When you're 18, those hormones are raging. It's all about how she looks,
right.
And so what we consider attractive, if you have 5 things that make a woman attractive in a guy's mind, when you're 18, 4 of those 5 is the way she looks. I mean, think about it. It is.
She looks good in this.
And
she looks good
as
here.
Long as she's, hold on. But as long as she's checking those first 4 boxes, you're like, I'm going to roll with it.
Right.
Every decade that goes by,
one box
the way you look ends up being one of those 5 things.
Right.
And if that's the only thing you have out of the 5, then chances are, yeah, cool. That's all you got. There's nothing there.
Then it's a no from you, Simon. Yeah.
If you have the other 4, but don't have the 5th, you're going to be a friend.
So now let's
the reason why is because men are visual creatures. So for you to be in a relationship, you got to have the visual part. To be a friend, you got to have the other 4. To be in a relationship with your friend, you got to have all 5.
What you got?
That was the perfect segue because I was going to bring up something that he and my fiance said some time ago, which is men are visual creatures. And my question is, because I've had men tell me, no, men and women can't really be friends.
You've had men, you said?
Absolutely. It's usually men that say, no, men and women can't be friends.
I usually hear it the other way, women.
Really?
Yeah, mostly women. They said men and women can't be friends.
What were their reasons?
One of the reasons is women always have an alternative.
Really?
They have, not alternative, an ulterior motive.
Really? That's fascinating.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that.
No, I'm saying this is what I've heard. You're not disagreeing with me. You disagree with what I've heard. Yeah. But what I hear is that they have ulterior motives. Like if they're a single woman, and you, especially if you're in a relationship, they're a little extra clingy. There's something they're trying to pull out of that relationship that they see that another woman has that's happy.
Ooh. So I'm going to speak up with the ladies here on a couple of points. One, I agree with that to an extent, because my next point was, I think it also depends on the person's level of consciousness. If you are a whole person, complete and resourced within yourself, then you're capable of having relationships with men and women without needing something. But I do know women who, it's not as kind to women as we age. And let's say they've not had fulfilling relationships. Right. So what you've shared comes into play, and it's like, well, there's hoping that, maybe I can have that with that person. Those ulterior motives. But I wouldn't say that's a general thing for women. I think it's just interesting, especially like what Leigh just brought up about as you age, as you evolve. When men are young, it's interesting to hear that perspective. It's like, vroom, vroom, hormones and how she looks. Right. But as you get older, you have higher expectations. You want this person to be, intelligent, will be a good wife, or brings in her own bacon and stands for herself. Same thing with women, but I wonder, is it that women still feel we need a man? I don't know that that's so true. So I know a lot of women who are like, if he doesn't meet A, B, C, D, check all my boxes, no, I'll just keep pushing.
I know a lot of women, I know a lot of women will tell me that it's usually the guy that can't be a friend. And the reason why is because most men befriend women.
Waiting for the opportunity. Yeah.
Right. Just saying. They're always waiting for that little fucking seam to open up. And you'll see it a lot with women who have like work husbands. They got a husband at home, but that guy that's at work that they always come, he's my friend, he listens to me at work, he's just Keep messing up, dude. Just keep. I'm going to be right here. I'm that shoulder to cry on. I'm just the nice guy. We go to happy hour from time to time. He's just my friend until she comes to you saying, he didn't come home last night. Oh, girl, that's okay. You can stay here.
So it's not is that like a predator dog?
That's
a
good question.
But aren't most men
predatory.
have predatory tendencies?
That's another great question. I read an article recently saying, people use the word predator in the way we use now, especially for pedophiles, this sort of really unpleasant stuff, and that's terrible. But also, nobody's going to call a lion a predator. There's certain biological urges, like to seed and to procreate, and there's a sense of, predatory instinct there.
Right.
And I actually think it's kind of for both men and women, maybe men physically, but women emotionally. We also have needs where you're looking for someone, to see you, to understand. And I think that's where things get weird because, things get complicated in male and female friendships when we are giving each other what it is we need and want instead of the other person. So say the man can separate sex, can separate physical stuff. Yeah, we can do that. And then we'll be friends tomorrow. We'll go for breakfast and go along. Women, on the other hand, we had sex, but really it's an emotional need or something closer. You've shared, we've been intimate in a way that now I demand and,
we go together.
I mean,
That's
like you like you had a little note. Yes, no, maybe so.
Oh, we had sex last night? You my girlfriend now.
You take my pocket.
you my boyfriend. Yeah.
Right. It's just, it's one of those things you're talking about, predator. Yes, we always say men were raised as hunter-gatherers, but the minute you say a man's a predator, it's a whole different thing. Well, what do you think a hunter-gatherer is?
Yeah.
He's a predator.
But what's funny is, what do you think about men these days? I mean, I know you're engaged, but men that are not necessarily, or you can tell they have not learned how to be hunters-gatherers. They're not alpha. How does a woman, especially you, because you're out there, there's a level of alpha in you. How do you...
I saw a meme on Instagram recently by a girl who said, be real, ladies, Bumble is not working for you. Yes, on one hand, you love the idea of being the instigator, but you want a man who's going to be a man and take charge and step forward and go out there and take a risk for you. And something about that kind of resonated with me too. I'm like, I think it also comes down to just knowing what it is you need as a person and articulating it. So, for example, no judgment about casual sex, none whatsoever. I have lots of friends that do it. Me, not for me. And I knew it from a young age. So I'm not going to be sleeping with friends because I'm horny. You know what I mean? You get a vibrator for that, or you figure something else out.
Right.
I think there are people who don't know how to communicate what they need and not honest with themselves about what they need. So that's where things get messy, and that's where friendships are, are we friends? We're not friends. Did I just mess this up?
Yeah, and I think communication, like you said, is key. And most people don't know how to communicate, just in general. People don't know how to communicate. And so that shit gets lost.
Yeah.
I have, as Mari-Ange can attest to, I have a lot of female friends, not just acquaintances, that people that I am really, really cool with, that are really close to me. And I would say 75% of them I dated at some point in time, and when I look at my friends, and they're, married with kids and all that stuff now, I think the reason why we stay friends is because we didn't end on a bad note. We realized the relationship aspect of our friendship didn't work, but everything else about the relationship worked.
Right.
And so rather than lose the conversation, the mental, Olympics,
stimulation, and
the hey man, can I just call and ask you something? Whatever it may be, rather than lose all of that because we weren't cool as partners, made no sense. And in the beginning, it's like, damn, I can't talk to this dude. And then literally, it always came back around after a few months. Like, dude, we're actually cool people. Why can't we just be cool people? And that's how it's been. And she's hung out with some of my friends and was like, dude, why don't you guys date? Well, we tried that, and that part didn't work, but we're still extremely cool. And then I have a handful of friends that, like Tina that you met, who never dated, never considered, her husband and I are good friends, and her and I are like, this. And why? Because she's just cool people,
Yeah.
And beautiful woman, but just cool people. So that's where she's attractive, but I'm not attracted to her in that sense.
That's because she's taller than you.
That takes a very mature, conscious person to do that. Do you have female friends? Kenny, what are your thoughts? I'm really curious.
I do have female friends.
Yeah.
Women
What
that
else
you've
you got?
dated that
No.
I'm in terms of like what he said, context of
No, not women I've dated. They're female friends. Women I've dated, it may have gotten to a point where we're like trying to be cool in the past, but it just didn't work out.
Didn't pan out that way.
Yeah, it didn't pan out because I think when the relationship ended, their expectations were we were going further and we did not. So it was like, no. Yeah. They're like, I'm trying, but I can't. Mm-hmm. So moved on.
I think everybody has those expectations when they're starting in a relationship where they're going down that path. Everybody sort of thinks, okay, I'm going into this because I want it to go further. That's the whole reason why you enter into a relationship in the first place, to kind of, nobody dates for saying, you know what, I'm going to get in a relationship with you just because I want to be with you for a month. It's what we talked about before, dating with intention. Right. So you date because you're trying to fulfill that need of whatever it is you need, whether it's companionship or whether it's love loss, whatever it may be. You're not trying to fulfill it for just today. That's not dating with intention. That's just getting your shit off.
Yeah.
And so when you become really close with somebody and you realize, oh, this is not my long-term partner per se, but he's a really cool dude or she's a really cool woman. Why let it all go because they can't be your long-term partner?
Yeah.
That's my thought process. And if you are mature enough as people to understand that and can get past the rocky section, then you realize, damn, they're kind of cool people.
Yeah.
Your significant others may not understand that.
Yeah.
But you can still.
But if your significant other doesn't understand it, then you probably need to let it go as well, because that can pose a problem with what's most important to you.
Oh, for sure. So that's why the female friends I have whose significant others wouldn't understand don't know that we dated.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They're cool with me because they're like, he's a cool guy. They're cool with me being friends, and they will never tell. And I just say, take that to your grave. There's no need. The past shouldn't affect your future. So just let the past be the past. And those who said you can't communicate with Leonel, then don't communicate with me. It's okay. I get it. Doesn't make me any less of a person. And if you need something, you can always call me, but I'm going to give you your space.
What's interesting about you is, and it's something that happens with me, is the people that I did date in the past that I actually tried to continue to communicate with. I think I enjoyed the communication with them. So when that loss happened because they could no longer communicate with me because we were not together, it was like, I felt a sense of loss, but I had to let it go. And I just find that interesting that we both have that same thing.
And Mari-Ange, do you have friends that are just male that are friends? I know you and I are friends.
Yeah.
And there's, you know what I mean? So it is possible, but it just depends on sort of the situation.
And I think it also depends on the person. To be really forthright here, I don't have a lot of male friends. Liz, actually, I consider you one of my best friends. And and those things happen over time and years. Yeah. And, it's not that I haven't maintained friendships with my exes. It's just not, I don't know. It didn't work out that way. I don't wish anyone ill. I don't think they wish me ill. But I've found that a lot of times guys do have ulterior motives, and sometimes given the opportunity, to try again, it's like, sure. I don't, but I think again, it depends on your level of consciousness. There's some people who I know, dated, men and women, maintained friendships, got with other people, years went by, they had kids, and then they got back together later in life.
Yeah.
And they had this solid friendship the whole time. I was like, wow, how'd you do that? It's actually an aunt and uncle of mine. And I was like, they said, because we valued, like what he said, there were other things that they valued about the person that they chose to preserve above momentary urges.
Right.
Correct.
So even when they were both married to other people, had separate kids. There were moments in troubled marriages where you lean on each other or when you, but I value this person. I respect her. I respect myself. I respect my kids. And you shut it down. That's what separates us from animals. We have the capacity, or supposedly, to make conscious choices, to be somewhat ethical, and I think that's the operative word here, friendship, meaning it's kind of like that cocktail we're drinking, respect and boundaries.
I just said it, just decide to fucking grow up.
That too.
Be an adult, you know.
Be an adult.
That too.
But, and I think that's why a lot of women, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, are hesitant to be in French, you know, in a relationship, a platonic relationship with a guy, because in the back of your mind, you're always going to be like, a guy is always going to want to try. If given the opportunity, he may want. So I know a lot of my friends are like, yeah, it's just hard to be friends with a guy because you're always thinking, when's it going to happen? And the majority of the time, 90% of the time, he pokes. Hey, girl. Whether it's when you're single, you know, you broke up, you're now single. Oh, this is my chance to try. I'm going to test the waters. If it doesn't work, I'm going to pull back and be the friend again until it's my time to try again. And a lot of women don't want to go through that. That cycle of, I got to shut you down. So they keep you sort of at arm's length. Or they're constantly needing to tell you, oh, you're just like a brother. You're just like a brother. You're just like, they don't need to keep telling you that, but they do just to keep you in check.
And I think what Kenny said, you know, I'm in a serious relationship, have been in one for 7 years. And, you know, I do everything I can to respect my partner and he respects me. But the other thing is we are not jealous people whatsoever. And I think there's being older, you know, I'm 40, there's an understanding that humans are humans and, you know, he's a good looking guy, I'm an attractive girl, people are going to flirt with us and that's okay. It's not the end of the world. He's confident, I'm confident, and I trust that he will respect me and himself and vice versa. So we're both capable of having, he has female friends. He absolutely has female friends. I have a handful. And, you know, friendships between men and women, like it's mercurial. Maybe there's some days, you know, I'm just going to say it. Yeah. There might be some flirting, light flirting. And sometimes I think people, that should never happen.
It's harmless.
Well, we're humans. We're humans. And sometimes flirting could be a poke or this. And, you know, I think our expectations of the other sometimes are projected from what we're missing from ourselves. If you have a strong core sense of self, you can take a laugh and have a laugh.
Yeah, and flirting is not an issue.
And sometimes it's cultural. I'm from the Caribbean. Come to Trinidad for Carnival now. Everybody flirts with everybody in front of their partner. You have a laugh and you move on. Yeah. It's a cultural thing
because it's not disrespectful. They're not doing it out of disrespect.
Right. Mm-hmm. It's the one that stays like this.
Or
they keep poking.
Or if you know your significant other doesn't like certain things, then you don't cross that line. You just say, you know what? I know this makes you uncomfortable, so I'm just not going to do that. Right. You know? And like, for example, with me and my female friends, when their dude is around, I always greet him first.
That's what I do as well.
I shake his hand, give him a pound, and then I don't hug her. I let her
hug you.
Come to hug me. I stand back and she comes to me because I've gone to him, then I step back, and then she'll come to me. Yeah. Because that just shows in my mind, dude, I respect you and
your position.
And I respect y'all.
Absolutely.
And
I do that with any couple, period.
Same.
Now, with Mari-Ange and her fiance, I always hug her first because she's prettier.
And also I'm pretty in the front. But I do the same. I think it's just a matter of also letting them know, listen, there's no ill will here. I honor your place and I address the lady often. And I mean, I think that's
that's the unspoken rule. You know, it's just, as long as there's always respect, the rest will kind of fall into place.
It's a state of consciousness, man.
Respect and then just know who you are. You know, like Mari-Ange always says, just you got to know who you are as an individual. You got to know, you have to be in a conscious state within yourself to understand and be able to survive in this world. Yeah. You know? But there's so many people that aren't.
No.
The majority of people are not, how do I put this? The majority of people are not conscious at
100%.
all. The majority of people walk around in they're robotic.
They're robotic and they're also in survival mode.
So let me ask you all a question. Have you ever been in a relationship where the person said you can't have friends who are of this? For example, I was married as well prior. And he was like, no guy friends, none, nada. I was really young, terribly in love. So, okay, I'm not, I think back now and that's a flag, but,
I have not. but I'm always very clear on who my friends are. You know,
it's when you don't tell people.
Yeah.
Like if somebody's rolling up and they've come up, hug you, whatever, and your significant other has never heard of that person.
Yeah.
In public, it's gonna be like, all right, cool. Hey, what's up, girl? It's gonna be a conversation later, like, who was that? You know what I mean? It's just it just is, and so you need to make it clear. These are my friends. Like I tell people all the time, I have a lot of female friends. Don't trip, and you don't need to worry because we're going to be okay. If they were gonna be in your position, you wouldn't be in your position because I've known them longer than I've known you. And if we were gonna date, I'd be dating them, not you. So don't worry. And it takes a confident person, honestly, to date me because it's not easy. My friends are cute.
No, your friends are gorgeous. All his friends are hot, and they're such nice girls. They're friends.
No, I was just thinking about him as a man. He's just challenging.
I mean that too, but I'm just saying.
I lost my thought.
That's what happens when you get old. That's what happens when you get old, man.
No, one of my funny moments is like when my wife and I we first started dating. Like we would always just crack a joke, but I was like, "You smashed, didn't you?" We'll see somebody that she's like, "I think I smashed that," and so it was like ongoing. Yeah. And she's like, "Have we run anybody you smashed?" I'm like, "No, because I lived in Atlanta for 16 years." They're like, "No."
But that's one of the things about respect too. If you're going somewhere and you know somebody you used to date is gonna be there ahead of time, like, look, you're probably gonna come across somebody's date. Like for me, if I throw a party, Mari-Ange has been to one of my parties. If I throw a party, chances are there's gonna be a handful of people there that I've probably slept with or dated at some point in my life because I stay friends with everybody. And if you're uncomfortable with that, I need you to know ahead of time you're gonna meet some people that they don't care about you. They care about me. They will respect you, but they don't care about you. And you have to be okay with that. It's that simple.
This guy.
Well, it's the truth because
I know, I'm just
and I tell them, I'm like, look,
that's real.
You come first, and they know that.
Yeah,
they don't have to be friends with you. They're not. Their job isn't to become your friend. Their
because
job
it's
is
your party.
Well, no, I'm just saying in general. Like if I'm dating you and I have a female friend,
yeah.
Their job isn't to become your friend. Their job is to respect you in your relationship.
Right. Unless it gets serious. I mean, if you got serious with this person, then
their job still isn't to become your friend. Their job is to just be able to respect your relationship and be okay with not being so tight because now somebody else is taking that
to accept that
primary role.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
She doesn't have to, like, there's so many couples think that, like, I know a lot of female friends who think now that she's married to her dude that all of his boys now have to be her boys. That's just not no, seriously, but a lot of people think that, like, now his friend circle has to be my friend circle. No, they just need to respect your relationship. That's all. And know that now you come before them. It's that simple. Your boys do it all the time. They're like, all right, dude, I get it.
Well, that's interesting because, see, what happens with us is my friendship circles, which is usually mostly fitness guys, most of them are married. So we're all kind of becoming the couples groups that are all coming together. Now, her girlfriends, those are her girlfriends. I've gone to maybe one or two handful events or whatever, but they're her girlfriends. Those are her type people. And be honest, I'm happy for that.
Yeah.
Because
so here's the thing.
I could just go home and stay asleep.
Imagine you have tight girlfriends. Is there anything cool about them all of a sudden becoming really tight with your dude? And the reason why, I'll tell you why I say that.
Honestly, no, not really. I'm surprised that I feel that way because I've never been asked that question, but not really. There's no need for you. Maybe one also because I'm an emotionally intelligent person. I'm the friend people call for comfort. So what you calling him for?
Right. So that's what I mean. So you're not okay.
Not really. No.
And you shouldn't be because.
Never thought of that.
And here's why. Men have ulterior motives. Women, when they're befriending a dude that's got a woman and they're single, they have ulterior motives. And
I have to agree with that.
100%. They're not just, you know, and dudes are kind of naive and they just don't pay attention, you know? Seriously, when a woman's trying to befriend them, especially if it's somebody that they're not attracted to, a dude's not going to pay attention to that. You want to give us way more credit than we deserve. We're dumb. And so, put it this way, if I'm dating you and one of your girlfriends is trying to be friendly with me and there is nothing appealing about her, I don't even notice what she's doing. I'm just like, oh, your girlfriend just wants to be cool with me because she's cool with you. That's how we're thinking. You as a woman see the whole other side because you know what's behind it. And a lot of women for sure will try to befriend the dude knowing that if there's any little glitch, they'll be the next person dating your dude. So I get it when a woman's like, nah, I don't want my girlfriends being tight with my dude.
Right.
Also because you know your girlfriends.
But also you will not talk about your business. The female will not talk about her business with her girlfriends. It's like, oh yeah,
they do.
They do, but
they do.
It
the
depends
smart
on
ones don't.
On who? Exactly. I'm about to say, like, I have a lot of friends that do. I don't. But also just because I'm a lone wolf, so I'm a little strange in that sense. There's some things you just deal with on your own. But I've seen this time and time again where, and I hate to say it, girls, don't be mad at me, but you know, a woman will see what a man and their friend or another woman have, and they'll think, oh, I'll have that if I'm with that person. But it's not true. It's like chemicals, right? You don't know the two chemicals will have the same reaction if you switch it up with this chemical A with chemical B. I don't.
Great point.
Oh,
I see that often though. Like sometimes, and I'm like, why? Oh, he's somebody who'll settle down. No, he settled down with her.
Right.
That doesn't mean he's going to do that with you.
But
he's a good guy.
But think about that. Why do you think?
But I've seen it with men too.
Why do you think a guy with a wedding ring is so attractive to women? Because they see stability. Yeah. He's settled, and they're like, oh, like you said, he'll be that way with me. Any man that sees a woman with a wedding ring, one of two things is going to happen. He's going to look at her and be like, waste of my time. Or he's going to look at it and be like, I'll throw the hook in the water. If she bites, that means this.
Trouble in paradise or possibility.
No, not even. This means I can do this and
no commitment. Place. Right.
I don't have to respond to her because she's answering to somebody else. You know, whereas a woman sees it, throws her hook in the water, and if he bites, oh, he's coming to me because he's just unhappy with his wife, and he's going to leave her one day for me and give me that life. That's never the fairy tale.
Let me tell you something. When I was training in Atlanta, I stopped wearing my wedding ring in the gym. And, you know, my ex-wife used to get mad. I'm like, you'd probably be happy that I'm not wearing my wedding ring in the gym because I'm going to this large corporate gym. And next thing you know, I mean, I'm training larger groups and mostly women. And I mean, they
like bees to honey.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
When I went, oh, you married? And they're flipping the hair. You're like, you're going in
because you represent everything that they're told that they should have or want, which is stability, security, all of that.
And as a trainer, because now you're a stable trainer. That means you're making good money with your business, and you're married. It's like, oh snap! Oh, you got it all together. Yeah,
I agree. Like my brother's wife, her friends, my brother's like, take it or leave it. You know, her friends they don't try to. They're cool because of the kids and because of the husbands and, you know, couples kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But he's like, they're your friends. Go handle your business. You know, and I think with women that are in my life, I'm not trying to befriend their dudes. Like, here's the funny thing. A lot of them will say, you and my husband should get together and go for drinks, or y'all should go out. I'm like, I got close male friends. I mean, how many of my male friends in the last 7 years have you met? This one.
Yeah.
The rest, you know. Yeah. You know, the rest are already in our squad.
In the crew, yeah.
You know, and so I'm not looking to make friends with your husband just so you can be in my presence more. I'm like, that makes me now question your ulterior motives. Mm. I know you want us to be close.
I did the same.
Like,
I'm unpacking some shit today, y'all.
Like the thinking man.
Mm-hmm.
These are just my thoughts. I could be dead wrong, but these are things I think about, and if you're like, oh, I want you to meet my husband and let's go have a drink. Cool, let's go. Because I want him to be more comfortable around me, knowing that I'm not trying to go after a woman. And a lot of times what I'll do is I'll invite a woman that I may be seeing and take her along so he sees I'm with somebody and have no interest with your girl. So
that sounds like a lot of effort, man.
Dude, it has to be. It has to be, because when men meet me, they immediately think, oh shit, how would my wife not like him?
Let me tell you, I'm happy I'm married.
The single world is not easy, my brother. Not easy.
Yeah, I just keep coming back to it's the person. I've been married and that was one thing, and I'm not married, I'm engaged, but I'm with somebody who's really confident, and we don't try to dictate who and what the other should be, which is, I don't know too many relationships like that, and I find that has allowed for friendships. It has allowed for friendships,
I think the funny thing about your fiance and Hunt is that I knew him before I met Hunt.
You did?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
From Equinox.
Oh, okay.
Shameless plug.
Shameless. We just gave y'all a plug.
Yeah, he has lovely things to say about you.
Time.
Yeah, he really likes you. He says you're a great person.
He's lying.
He doesn't know.
He doesn't know.
He doesn't know the truth.
Hey, I'll take your word for you. It's just so interesting because it's just so much to think about. And I feel like the girls sound like they're getting a bad rap. And it's not that women come to things with agendas, but I do think there's still this working out of millennia of telling women, you need a man, you need to be married, you need certain things, that we're working out this subconscious societal need that really and truly it's just about respect. Women want to feel respected. Women want to feel like we're more than something. And friendship, if you find that in friendship, then you think, this is somebody that I would like to give more to.
And which is fine, and I think people just need to, like you said, communicate and be honest with your intentions. And intentions can and always do change, depending on what you need today versus yesterday versus tomorrow, and depending on what you're looking for.
Yeah.
You may not know you're looking for it until it's sitting in front of you, and you're like, damn, I think I kind of feeling some kind of way. And you'll either walk away from it because it's just not what you're supposed to be. I mean, Mari-Ange and I talk about a certain person all the time, about how if things were different, we'd be attached to the hip, but they're not different. And so I'm able to separate completely.
Right.
And it's just, I'm built different. I'm a logical robot from time to time.
Yeah.
Y'all, this was a good conversation.
Can I just say one last thing before we wrap up? Done. I just want to make a plug for male-female friendships, because I had, again, that ex who used to tell me, well, I'm your man, what you need male friends for? And I'll say what I need male friends for, just as men need female friends, for a different opinion, for a different perspective. Like today, sitting down with you two, like, oh yeah, I mean, I would have not said that, but the truth is I'm not a man. I can't say for sure. Right. I don't know. And hopefully I brought some, female perspectives to you all as well. And that's why. It's kind of like Facebook and Instagram, where you're in these bubbles of the same opinion being recycled to you. We need diverse opinions to...
Well, we need to all get out. We all need to get out of this space of the inside the computer. We need to start communicating.
Well, and people will always say, I will never be one to say, I know a woman. I will never say, I know a man. I know this man. But no matter how close you get to the opposite sex, you can never say you fully know and understand them, because you're not them.
Right.
And so that's the whole part of life and growing and understanding people, because you're constantly learning more and more about them. But, when you think you know it all, you get another perspective, and it teaches you how much you actually don't know. And so that only helps you grow as a person. So when you go into your relationship with a woman, having a woman in your ear saying, these are some things that are common to women, not necessarily generalizing all women, but saying, hey, look, there's a few things that, let me teach you about things that women pay attention to, and things that are, growing up with a mom and a sister, I see it and I'm like, oh, let me just file that away, because it may not be exact for all women, but there are certain traits that are characteristic of most women. Yeah. And if you can just hold on to that, and just kind of take it as, okay, I need to attack things a little differently and maybe have a little softer edge, or maybe do things a little differently.
Yeah.
You
become
understand?
an iPhone and not a Droid. Soft edges.
Right.
I'm just saying. I'm gonna throw this, and I know you probably have something else you want to throw in.
Oh, I just said it.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
She's like, I'm done.
I'm just gonna keep it simple. All men, all women have self-respect, and just work on being more respectful and giving respect, and learn how to communicate. Just learn how to talk. More than talk, listen.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
That's all encompass of the human experience. That's it.
And you can't expect to be respected or even know how to give respect until you respect yourself. Yeah. It's that simple.
Self-respect, man.
Man, this was a good one. This was definitely a good one. So we're going to let our guest start off. Where can they find you? How are they going to look for you? I know Mari-Ange has a podcast coming, y'all.
I do. I'm really excited about it. More on that to come later. But you can find me on Instagram at FireFemme, at FireFemme. Hit me up.
Coach KJ. I'm like, we got a third person here.
At Coach KJ Knows. At Coach KJ Knows on Instagram and CoachKJ.com.
You can always find me at Leonel Hunt, Leonel Hunt. On Instagram, you can find me at huntspine.com. All things Coach KJ and Doc, you can find us at podcastsoe.com. And on Instagram, at SOE_podcast. DM us, send us questions, do all that good stuff. And
talk to us, and we'll talk to you.
You know what, man? Mari-Ange, thank you for coming.
Thank you so much. Many blessings. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
We out.